what did we do? How could we have made such a mistake? How could we have made such a mistake? Bichl Chassidus, it's immer Zeit mit verschiedenen. And I'm quiet. The plane goes off. I go in the first class. The guy was in the executive class. I told him the story. He gave me the back. I go back to what? What's going on? I told him the story. He made the mafteach, all what there is inside. We arrive in New York. The Rebbe is going out to the gave the sefer.
Chafav, the yard site of the Rebbe's father, Harav Again, Harav Chossid, Hamakubel, V'chulu, Harab, Rebbe Yitzchak, is upon us. One of the things that we can do this Chafav is to donate and be mishtatif in the Keren Levi Yitzchak, which was founded by the Rebbe in Tafshin Chavdalid, specifically for Chafav and the Zichrein of the Rebbe's father. There's a very interesting story behind it, and please stay tuned later on in the episode for more details. I'm Yossi Kamen. Welcome to Among Chassidim by Der Her, an ongoing farbrengen about life as a chassid, our vibrant connection with the Rebbe, and inspired living shaped by the way he teaches us each and every day. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Weitman, how are you?
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom, Rabbi Yossi Kamen. Thank you for the invitation. Good to see you.
Okay, thank you for accepting it. So I know you a little bit from a distance. I was actually on Shlichus in Brazil when I was a bacher, but we interacted once or twice then, but never one-on-one like this. So there's certain things that I know about you and certain things that I don't know. So I think we should start from the beginning. Maybe you can share with me a little bit about where you come from and the background and how you became the Rabbi Weitman, the Shliach in Brazil. We'll go through that.
Okay, let's start. I'm originally from Belgium, from Antwerp. Antwerpen in Yiddish. That's a very Chassidish town, a lot of Stiblach, and my family originally, they're Chassidim, Polish Chassidim. They come from Poland. They're born in Germany, but they came all from Poland. Both sides, regional Chassidim, but they are Holocaust survivors. My father was on a train already that should arrive in Auschwitz, and he jumped from the train. He was 14 years old, and he pushed another 5 people that Baruch Hashem survived with him. And after the war, my parents are more modern, but they gave me a frum Jewish education. They sent me to yeshivas and so on. They sent me to Litvish yeshivas. I learned in Israel. I learned a bit in Beis Talmud. I learned in Shivas Negev. I learned for a year and a half, 2 years in Israel. And my father, as a survivor, a Holocaust survivor, also, I had always, let's say, a bit a tendency. I loved Chassidim. Also, the town is a Chassidish town. My uncle was the Meshamish Bakodesh for many, many years by the Beis Yisrael from Ger Chossid. And I liked it. Even in the Litvish yeshiva, I had a small picture of the Alter Rebbe, and I had some friends in school that were Chabadnikim. So I had some connection. And my father wanted me very much to be a dentist. He learned dentistry. Well, he looked all what kind of the parnosa that's best for be a shomer Shabbos, a frumayid, and so on, and also of course worried for parnosa, and that was his will. He wanted it very much. But I must say the truth, nafshi choshka batei, I wanted to learn more. I wasn't happy enough with the learning. And my friends, I got finally for 2-3 weeks in vacation in Brunois. And there
I'm missing. So yes. You had a vacation from yeshiva. So you decided
I was already back in Belgium. My father wanted me to start. I started a bit to learn the dentist, but it was not what I wanted. So I went on vacation in Brunois. It was a winter vacation, I remember. I loved it very much.
And how did you get there?
Because of friends. Like I told you, I had some friends already there. I had some friends that were going for they had a program, I think, for the vacation, for the winter vacation in Hanukkah time. So I went and I learned in the Kibbutz with Siddur, and I loved it. And by coming back, I decided I'm going back to yeshiva. Finish. I'm going back to yeshiva. My father wasn't convinced about, I must say the truth. even not for me, for else. So we decided the deal. I'm going to the Rebbe Elul, and if he wants to come and ask the Rebbe, yeah, whatever the Rebbe will say, if the Rebbe says I should go and learn be a dentist, I will do it.
Can I
So,
interject? I'm trying to understand the story. So you had this, I don't know, conviction that we're going to ask the Rebbe,
yeah.
but that was already from the 2 months in Brunois, or
No,
your
that was
shaykhis was before?
well, no, I arrived in Shvat, and this was in Elul, and my father was insisting I should come back to Antwerp. So we make a deal. He came to New York. The Rebbe received in for Yechidus between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I remember it was rare. Normally the Yechidus are after Sukkot, and he came specially. I wrote to the Rebbe what I want to do, but I must say the truth, I was quite scared because I knew that the Rebbe sent many people, especially in France, to learn in university, to do mitzvahim there, so I didn't know what the Rebbe will do, but we left it. He went to the Rebbe, he was there another 25 minutes at least. The Rebbe must have questioned him many things about the war and the way it was and about Belgium and so on, other private things. But at a certain moment, the Rebbe told him, your son will continue in yeshiva. And the Rebbe, I think, used the word, your son will be melamed, the melamed Teri, will teach Torah. He said it clearly to him, and my father understood that's it. The Rebbe said it very clearly. That's what your son will do. By going out of the door, the Rebbe called him back, and the Rebbe asked him if he knows why people give out some lekech before Yom Kippur. The Rebbe told him that this is, he said no. The Rebbe told him that's the minhag is because you should not during the year, if you chas v'sholem have to an onkommen so an under yid, you should stand your hand and beten at mission yotze given. I think what the Rebbe wanted to tell him, don't worry about the parnos of your son. Don't worry, we will take care. I think that's just about what the Rebbe was telling him. It's okay, it's arranged, and that's it. And Taki stood in Brunois, and Baruch Hashem learned there, and it was beautiful, and we had fantastic, I don't have to tell you, Rosh Rabbi Yosef Goldberg, and Mashpia, Reb Nissen, I don't have, I saw Avodas Hashem, I saw the difference, of course, from where I learned in the yeshivas, and this took me a long time, and after, it was very interesting because I wanted, when already then I wanted in Tisha to stay in New York after a year, and the Rebbe, I wrote it in. There was still Yechidus. I was in Yechidus, and the Rebbe told me a few things to learn, Bashkod, Bashkid, Basmod, a few things. And the Rebbe doesn't answer me where to learn. At a certain moment, the Rebbe took $1 and gives me the dollar and said, "This dollar you should change for French francs." So I understood I have to go back. So I went to Brunois with another year. So that's just how I arrived in Lubavitch and how I learned in Brunois. And also in Brunois, Baruch Hashem, beside the learning, which I love, and I still keep on learning, I think it's important, even in Shlichus. But I had also many possibility of Merkel Shlichus. This was very, some Merkel Shlichus and also especially in camps. I will maybe, if you want, I'll tell you a bit more about. My first Merkel Shlichus was with Danny Moskovich. He was my teacher. And he knew that I have relatives in Sweden and I knew a bit the question. So we organized Merkel Shlichus 10 days in Sweden, 7-8 days, every day in another place. And it was very, very special. And he taught me, we went visit people and mezuzahs and sichos do in the shulen and chazoras da'ach and so on. It was a very special thing and interesting. We came back. This was in Shvat Odor, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe later, Odor maybe. But Peil, after that, interesting, the Rebbe spoke many times with Benjamin Gorodetsky. The Rebbe told I got a very good grus in Hatzloche from the Shlichus in Sweden. The Bochim should go around all over Europe. So there was a kvutze of Shluchim in Brunois. So then they went out in all countries in Europe. But the Rebbe said I got a good grus from Sweden that was very, very special. Also, I worked many times in camps for Rabbi Hillel Pevsner. He had
In
camps there,
Paris.
Sinai called, yeah, camps of Sinai and Gan Yisrael, and with my good friend Yosef Yitzchak Rabbi Pevzner, Rabbi Yosef Pevzner, and we organized and we directed with the head counselor, so on and so on. This so had or some. Beside that, we made some shlichus in other places. In Switzerland, was once with students. Means I got the experience of shlichus already in France, Baruch Hashem, say with students and say with kids in camps. This is important for maybe for the to understand the future of the thing. One interesting story about the shlichus in Merke shlichus in Sweden. We went in Sweden. We went mainly in the capital in Stockholm, but also small. And there is a small town. I don't know even if you can say that it's on the map. A small town, an hour and a half from Stockholm, the capital. It's called Västerås, and we got to know there are two Jewish families. Okay, so we took a car. We decided we call up. We go there. We went there. First family wasn't there. The other family called Linderman, I remember till now, is there. We go there and we speak and we go, we give mezuzahs and tefillin a bit and put on. And the guy knows how to put on tefillin. And then he says, I made my bar mitzvah in Kfar Chabad. He's a Frenchy guy. Bar mitzvah in Kfar Chabad? We looked at him, guy 30, 40 years old, didn't look like, but it was true. His parents were living there close, and he spoke about Rabbi Chaim, and he was a kid. He made the bar mitzvah thing. Upon him, in the middle of the talking, he tells us that he's the only one in the whole neighborhood that knows how to read Hebrew. And there are many Jews in small towns or there around, many of them. So they get together, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. They get together, and he's the chazan. He's the only one that knows how to read. He's the chazan. He tells us he goes by car. What can I do? I'm not so religious, but remember, he told us that he has difficulties to eat without the meat, without the shchita, since he was in Kfar Chabad. Interesting. I'll call upon him. He didn't learn in yeshiva. He was a kid. I'll call upon him in the duch. We wrote to the Rebbe all the protim for what we did the whole week, whole thing, and we wrote about this Jew, Guy Linderman. And a year after, another shluchim went to visit him. We gave already the addresses to the other kfutza that went next year. Look what's interesting. A year after or during that year, he gets a letter from the Rebbe and a telegram. He gets a mivrak from the Rebbe, which the Rebbe says a letter is coming. A long telegram with a letter tell him, I know that you know when you make the Rebbe, you should know you should not go by car to be the chassan for Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and the Rebbe begs him to go before and to do it according to in the telegram, and then another letter. So here you see an unbelievable thing. We're speaking about a small town, one Jew, and a duch. The Rebbe reads the duch. He gets a letter. I don't know if it was after our shlich or the next kfutza. I have the letter. I have the telegram. The thing, unbelievable. The Rebbe begs and tells him, as a chazan, you're going to do. It's very important, but you should know. And keeping Shabbos and Yontav, you should not go back. Unbelievable. The interest, the individual attention to one small Jew in a small town. That's I'm telling you, this is interesting. Anyway, you want to know a bit how I arrived to Brazil? That's what you asked me before.
Well, before that, you ended up learning in 770?
Yeah, of course. I learned in 770 a few years.
So how did that happen?
No, naturally. After the year that the Rebbe told me to go back, finished, Baruch Hashem, I went back. I went to 770.
So maybe before the shlichus, you could tell me a little bit about what it was like learning in 770, being around the Rebbe all the time.
This was Gan Eden. This was something very special, and we maybe didn't profit enough every day to daven with the Rebbe, Mincha, Meir, Shachis, Chesater, Montik, and Donnerstag. It was something special, and the Verbringens and everything, every minute. And I learned a year and a half more in 717, and then another year and a half in Koilel. Another year and a half.
So you there and you got married.
Yeah.
What years are we talking about?
I got engaged in Lamed Zayin, and I got married in Lamed Ches. I got married in Lamed Ches. We were bochim in 717, and There was a few things interesting. We were going in the summer to make camps, like I told you, for French kids. One camp in Italy. That's where they proposed me my wife from the family Zippel, big Asconi from Anash in Milano. And then 1 month in France camps. And we were all the madrichim, all the people going. After Mincha, you stay after Mincha, and the Rebbe goes out of Mincha, and it has normally Fort Gesundheit.
For those that are traveling.
Yeah, we were going traveling already, Tammuz to the camps. The Rebbe says to every one of us, Fort Gesundheit, etc. Then he turns to me, he said, Psugas Tuibus. So everyone understood that something might go on, and that's exactly what happened at the end. I got engaged in Italy.
In Italy, while you were there for the camp?
After the two camps, yeah. After the two camps. My Schatzen was Moshe Lazar, yeah.
And the chasana was in Italy.
Yeah, but the chasana was in Italy. The family of my wife is very, very attached to. They were in Italy. They brought the first Rabbi Perlov. Still, they're connected to the Rebbe's in the 50s, the youths, and they brought Rabbi Gershon Mendel, Baruch Hashem. It was very strong connection with the Zippels and the Garelics. Very, very strong connection. Many, many letters. And so the family of my wife has also a lot of connection with Russia. We'll come to that a bit later. Okay.
So you went back to Crown Heights.
After a year or maybe a year and a half, I wanted already to go to Shlichus. I had a bit Spilkis, but on the other side, I liked very much the learning. I liked very, very much the learning. So I wrote the Rebbe. What should I do? So the Rebbe said, as you're asking, so I asked the Rebbe, should I make another year in Köln? I said, the Rebbe, I don't remember the Loshen, but the Rebbe said, as you're asking, no. As you have doubts. So
if you have a doubt about staying in Köln, it means it's not for you.
The Rebbe said, okay, already Zalmashen in the Shlichus. And that's what happened, and I got a few proposals. Me, after all, I'm from Belgium. My wife is from Italy. We never dreamt about Brazil. I don't think we knew exactly even where it's on the map. But we got a proposal from Rabbi Alpen, a very serious proposal. But I had also other proposals in Europe, in Brussels from Rabbi Chaikin. I had something from Rabbi Gershon Mendel. So we had some three proposals, I think, in Europe and one in Brazil. I wrote to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe told me, if your wife agrees, and so to get interested about Brazil. So really,
the Rebbe chose out of all the Hatzos.
The Rebbe pushed more to Brazil, clearly, and so that's what we did. And Baruch Hashem. And the interesting thing that the Rabbi Alpen wrote, and I made me also write, that the main shlichus will be to work with students, which I had some experience, and with young couples. And also because of the French, that I know good French, after all, that's the language in Belgium and France, that I should also work with the Sephardic community. The Sephardic community, because they were the Sephardic community in Brazil were originally from Lebanon and from Syria, and they speak French. The old generation speak very French. And you see that's the Rebbe's view, so the Rebbe's brocha. After very many years, I became the rabbi. I'm here, the rabbi of the Syrian community of the Safra synagogue. So
that was already built into the original shlichus.
That was already in the beginning of the shlichus. Yeah. Now, coming to Brazil, worked mainly with students. Mainly with students. A few. I arrived after like Bemer Lamet Tes in Brazil, 47 years ago. And we concentrated a lot on students and on young couples. And Baruch Hashem, 2 months after arriving there in July, we made already a seminar for students. My Portuguese wasn't so good.
It's related to French, no? Portuguese.
Yes, it's close to French. I know Italian for my wife, so it helped me a lot. And we already made a first seminar, Levi Yitzchak, we called it. We wrote to the Rebbe. The Rebbe was very happy. Always answers, Baruch Hashem. It
was called Seminar Levi Yitzchak?
Yeah.
How do you decide to call it that?
Because we started that in Ov, next to Chov Ov, so we decided to give it the name for the Rebbe. We got, of course, the Rebbe was happy, and we got straight away maybe 20 boys, and after 2 or 3 weeks, and after that girls from students, and from that started the small nucleus of baalei tshuva that we worked on then. And Baruch Hashem in Shvat, next year Shvat, I brought already a kvutze to the Rebbe from students. I brought a kvutze to the Rebbe from students. This was very, very important. We had Shabbatons and Farbrengen and Shabbos Mevorchim and all kinds of Sunday Mivtzoim and the Kant. Rabbi Alpen had the mitzvah tank. We were going around with it. So slowly grew the group, we would say, of baalei tshuvas. And then Yud Shvat Tov Shin Mem, there was still Yechidus. So then we had a few things very interesting that happened in that Yud Shvat. First of all, we started to translate, I think it was Toshimem or Mem Alf, I'm sure, almost Toshimem. We started in Brazil, we asked the Rebbe permission to translate. There is a book from Tzach in Israel, Emunah Umada. Many letters from the Rebbe about Mada, about Darwin.
Torah and science.
Yeah, Torah and science, the theory of Darwin, evolution, and the age of the universe. And the Rebbe, all these long letters that we know to people, scientific people. So the Rebbe gave us permission. We started to translate that. Every morning we worked on that. A young man, Manash Bandi, and also a lawyer from Geza Anash, a very important lawyer, Dr. Scheinman. And we worked on that, and it was almost ready. And Yud Shvat, we arrived to the Rebbe. This is an interesting story. And we had already the proofs of the book. The book wasn't ready, but the proofs were ready. And this Dr. Sharman, he goes into Yechidus, the Rebbe, we were there.
With you?
Yeah, with me. There was a whole group. We had 30, 40 people. And he gives the Rebbe the book, the proofs. The Rebbe tells him straight away, I don't speak Portuguese, I'll try my best to understand. Then he wanted to be clever. So he tells the Rebbe, ich hoffe zu bringen dem fertige Sefer for Yutal of Nissen. He wanted to come back for Yutal of Nissen. So he tells, I hope to bring the book already ready. So the Rebbe tells him like that, bring me better the students and the science people that will read the book. Sollen sie kommen zu Verbrengenischen. Let them come to Verbrengens and let them know that there is no contradiction between science and Torah. Adrabe, Torah steht höher von Mada. Torah is much higher than science. So you see a lotion from the Rebbe, bring me these people to Verbrengens. It's a very rare lotion. The Rebbe should speak about his Verbrengens. The Rebbe says, don't bring me the book. Bring me the guy, the nefoshes. Bring me the people.
It's a very deep story. So what does it mean?
Very interesting story. From then on, we understood, and we started to make futzes to go to the Rebbe. Every Yud Shvat we did that, and after Gimtas we changed it. We do that in Elul. We never stopped to make futzes to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe gave a lot of attention to all these students. Answers, private answers. A year or two after, stopped the Yechidus. Last year we still had a Yechidus, only the group of Brazilians in the Rebbe's room. And there are many stories. I will tell you 2-3 stories just a bit to understand, but the Rebbe gave a lot of attention, private and dollars, and because the group of students was like that. They were coming to New York. They staying from before Yud Shvat, after Tu B'Shvat, sorry. Then the boys would go for months or 3 weeks in Morristown, and the girls in Mochen Chana. There was a time that we had already maybe 10, 20 girls, Brazilian in Morristown for a whole year. Many of them would stay because this is vacation. In Shvat is the vacation in the hemisphere, south hemisphere. So that was, and every year we repeated that, and the Rebbe gave a lot of attention. They were sitting together, Bashvat, and the Rebbe would say, L'chaim. That kvutze, Tov Shimem, happened an interesting thing. There was an old man, his name is Shimon der Barmdiger, a richtige Enigel Ben Nachar Ben from the Rebbe Levitzig Barditchev. He was living in another state in Brazil, in Salvador, and Rabbi Alpen was mekarev him, and he became a Frum Yid. He was already 80 years old. Bold. Well, I'm going to Chossid. He saw the group of students going. He asked me, Rebbe, can I join? My dream is to see the Rebbe. What should I say? It was a group of students, but the elder Yid ones, and there was another one. I said, okay, fine. He comes with us. He was a very sentimental guy, a lot of emotions. We arrived. Normally, when you arrive, the whole group, everyone says Birkas Agimel in front of the Rebbe. The Rebbe stays on the side, and you say Birkas. When it was his turn, he just saw the Rebbe. He couldn't say Birkas. He started to cry. The Rebbe stood there 10 minutes. He couldn't speak. Okay. Arrived the Farbrengen with Schwarz. Malchus, the Rebbe goes in. You can understand. The whole afternoon we prepared the place, the seats, and the whole the thing, the horaos. He sees the Rebbe coming, first sikha. After the first sikha, he got a heart attack. In the middle of Farbrengen, he couldn't make it. His emotion was too big. Heart attack there. No, heart attack. Goes to hospital. He was very worried. We didn't know what to do. We asked he should tell the family, not to tell the family. The Rebbe said, why should tell his family? And the Rebbe sends him a siddur with his signature inside. And the Rebbe told him he should make mitzvah. He's Mekav Yid in the hospital. So he was going around with the whole thing, trying to make mitzvah. Al kol ponim came the night of Yechidus. And the doctor didn't let him out from the hospital. He was in the York Jewish hospital, there in Brooklyn Hospital, Brooklyn Jewish Hospital. He missed Yechidus. Okay, passed another way too. He's free. He comes back. He writes to the Rebbe, I came specially and I missed Yechidus. What's the time? So I looked the lotion what the Rebbe tells him. Hare hishtatef beisvadus. Veisvadus hare zu Yechidus אלא שבמימד כמה וכמה מישראל, וקל להובין. בטח קיבל הסידור, מצורף בזה צדוקה, אז קירה לציון. So the Rebbe tells you, you were on the Farbrengen. How long was he the Farbrengen? It was 20 minutes by the Farbrengen, not more. He had a heart attack. The Rebbe tells him, you were by the Farbrengen? הרי סבדוס זו יחידוס רק במימד של כמה וכמה. מאיר די גלושן.
This is that answer is a very famous answer, but the background of the whole story is not. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's not famous. So I don't know about others.
For sure, you get the siddur. There were many interesting stories. There was another older man. His name was Federman. He was a senator from Curitiba. I don't know if you know today. There are Shluchim Curitiba, Rabbi Brazil, but this is another state in Brazil, in the south of São Paulo. And this person, in the Seminario Levitz, like that we had for students, was a nephew of him. So he got to hear about the Rebbe. He had the cancer, leukemia, very strong. And the doctors told him he has a month to finish. He heard about the Rebbe. He also asked me very much permission if he could come to the Bikra. I said, yes, he wants to come in the Kfutz. Okay. He was very, very far from Yiddishkeit. His name was Federman. Al kol ponim, he went into Yechidus. One thing important, many Brazilians that went to Yechidus didn't speak not French, not Hebrew, not Yiddish, not Russian, not English. So I had to stay next to the door. It was inside the room. I heard everything, and then I translated them
in front of the Rebbe.
No, I translated them outside. Mm-hmm. But I heard Hori's Yechidus. The Rebbe tells him like that. You are a Jew that made many, many favors to Jews and non-Jews. He was expecting the Rebbe would tell him maybe the guy is very sick, so put on film every day, kashas, mezuzah. Not a word of a mitzvah. And the Rebbe tells him, you are a Jew that makes a lot of favors to Jews and non-Jews, and you should continue it. And the Rebbe repeated 3-4 times, you, Indian, is to make favors to Jews and non-Jews, and give him a bracha, and he lived another 2-3 years at least. He went to the memorial catering that. Baruch Hashem, look the story. In Beit Chabad, that time, by Rabbi Alpan, there was a group of ladies, what's called Ezra, that were making chesed with poor people and so on. One day, one of these ladies comes and tells me he was living in a small town next to Curitiba, a town called Ponta Grossa. There were there 10 Jewish families, not more. This lady comes in, a bakoshe came from a poor goy that he needs a wheelchair. He has no money for a wheelchair. I said, Ponta Grossa, I know somebody, we have that senator. In the meantime, I sent him film. I went to him at home. He became more frum, and so on. He gave money for publication of Chabad. I'll call upon him. I said, yeah, okay. I called this senator, Mr. Federman. Here, this and this street, the poor guy needs which I take care. He took care. The next day, he passed away.
Ah.
So we see the Rebbe said already, your Indian is to make favors, Jews and non-Jews, the whole time repeating it. Very, very interesting. When I was in the Yechidus with these people, one of them, I remember he was a young boy. I will not say his name. He was a young boy. The Rebbe stopped the middle and said, translate. He told me to translate in front of him. And this happened twice. And I felt that the Rebbe was testing me if I learned Portuguese. The Rebbe once wanted, because normally I was translating outside. I felt very much the Rebbe wanted to see if I learned the language.
Mm-hmm.
This boy, the Rebbe told him he should go to Petropolis to the yeshiva. He was young, he was 17, 18 years. He wanted
Petropolis is the yeshiva that everyone went to.
next to Rio de Janeiro, next to Rio, an hour from Rio. Rabbi Binyamini. So this boy wanted to go to university. The Rebbe told him you should go at least 1 year to Petropolis. He didn't like it so much. I don't know why. He tried, didn't work, and he cut off with me.
His beard.
No, he cut off any contact. I tried to call him.
Oh, he cut off. Okay, I didn't say so.
He didn't let. He cut his consideration, and he didn't go. He didn't stay in yeshiva. He didn't listen to the Rebbe. Look, 36 years pass. Unbelievable. I met in Sao Paulo a young Tommy with a beard and everything against those. He came from Israel. I say, what's your name? He tells me that. Excuse me, your father is he said, yes. I said, yeah, my father, full Chossid. At the end, he came back, son, all. We see mamish achsidische stickel bread wird nicht verfallen. A word from the Rebbe, if it doesn't happen first generation, it happens in second generation. It is mamish. I couldn't believe it. That's the guy that didn't listen to the Rebbe. He was in Yechidus. He saw the Rebbe. He got the bracha. Unbelievable. And like that, Baruch Hashem, this was very, very special. The work with the students also made us make translations of Chassidus in Portuguese because we had to teach them Chassidus and there was nothing. So we started Bosel again. Today you have whole things of Maimorim and everything, Baruch Hashem, in Portuguese. And we got many, many brachas from the Rebbe Niskabel, Chossid. The Rebbe told me once to send all what we sent, all we translated Chassidus, we should send him Lisanian Eifo Shemedabrim Portuguese. I should send to Portugal and to Africa, whatever. But this also brought other words, also works. Of course, the work also with the students to get new guys, we started to miss pegishas. Like in New York, that pegishas, when I started to make pegishas, 400 people, 600 people, many buses from Rio that came. This was the beginning, the young people in Rio. That's how they after wrote to the Rebbe, they wanted Shliach, and Rabbi Goldman was there. All these begishas brought people from many other towns, and sometimes we had for a Shabbos 800, 900 students, were beautiful begishas with lectures and so on. One of those begishas, we brought Dr. Branover. He was a few years after he came out of Russia, and he was already in Beersheba, a very important researcher. And his story, just as a refugee in Russia, was very important for the students. And we brought him, he agreed to come, and he spoke. It was fantastic. Many people, he touched many, many people. And also we arranged him many things scientific. He was received in the university by the rector. He got a special medal and so on. Before going, I'm telling you this because just you should know how the Rebbe goes into batim. This is what I want to tell you. Before going to Brazil, he came through New York, he was in Yechidus. I understand it was more a private Yechidus, but the Rebbe always pushed him on his scientific research. Hydrodynamic magnetism, something like that. After he came back from Brazil, he went again to Yechidus. And then the Rebbe asked him, how was it? Which language did you speak? How many students were there? And so on. Every pegisha, we were making like a pasta, I don't know how you call it. It's such like that, that with a lot of such a thing that you keep, and you can have a tikia, how you call it, tikia.
Folder, like a folder. Like a
Special
folder.
folder with a lot of articles about Chabad and a lot of information. So some very important things you should know. Whole tikiya, Pigisha with the name. I sent it a week before to the Rebbe. There was somebody go to Rebbe. I wrote a ruch like every month. I sent all the papers, what been the Gisha, what the program. When he was in Yechidis, he told me the Rebbe speaks with him, asking many questions, also what he did about his research, and he told the Rebbe. And the Rebbe tells him, the folder, my folder, I have already mine, the Rebbe shows it. The folder of the Rebbe shows it, mine I have already, I got already. The Rebbe shows it in the room of the Rebbe.
Wow.
One of the big professors that received Rabbi Dr. Brandover, his name was Professor Fleming, a goy, got very inspired from him. He wrote me a very nice letter about him. What a man, hosting in Russia, and he get out from communism already. Very nice letter. When I wrote to the Rebbe Ducha the Rebbe said his Kaaba with Shuaschein and pictures and so on. The Rebbe one time I sent pictures to the Rebbe. The Rebbe sent me back the pictures and told, "Na letzayen me'ever ladaf hashemes v'ha'inyan." Please write me on the other side of the pictures the name of everybody is there and what's exactly what. You see how the Rebbe, what happens? And the Rebbe, and I liked, and the Rebbe said, and I got the letter from Professor Fleming. The Rebbe, you see, the Rebbe was very, very interested in the scientific work of Dr. Pravda. I got the letter of Dr. of Fleming, and the Rebbe was happy about it.
You sent it to the Rebbe.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Also, you should see the impression, the whole roishim that he made in Brazil. It was very strong. Okay, I think I'll tell you a bit. Let's hear about the questions.
That's beautiful. Yeah. You also were involved with printing of Tanya's. That was in Brazil.
Yes, let me tell you. Brazil was very involved in printing Tanyas. Just to know, first of all, Label Zines is the one that printed maybe 1,000 Tanyas all over the world. Rabbi Alpen printed many, over 100. He had a whole kiruim from there, especially in whole Brazil, every town. My work with the printing Tanya started when I arrived in Brazil. I got to know that 350 years before, some Portuguese Jews were in Recife. There was a whole kehillah with Rabbi Yitzchak Abuhav, whole kehillah of Portuguese Jews that it was after the Inquisition.
I think that's the first Jews Bichlal in
yes,
the
Americas. First Jews, even the one that started the community in New York were from Recife. You know, the 23 pilgrims that arrived, they arrived from Recife. So I wrote to the Rebbe if maybe I should. It was not yet a whole campaign about Tanyas, didn't exist yet. Okay, but I wrote the Rebbe already. They were printing Tanyas, but not so strong. I asked the Rebbe, "Do you think I should print a Tanya?" The Rebbe said yes. Then I had an idea. Maybe we should sell the printed Tanya, maybe the smallest possible. I have one here on my desk. I said, small. So the Rebbe wrote me, very interesting. The Rebbe answered me. The Rebbe answered me like that. First of all, about Recife, Bi'im yesh Yehudim shigorim sham, only if there are some Jews there living. And the second thing, Bi'im batuach sheyuchlu likros boy, if you're sure that be ready, then I should print the Tanya and a Tilim. I printed both. It was in a special cover. Okay.
Why did you want to do it so small?
Because I wanted it pocket. People should keep it by themselves. We printed it. That was my beginning with the Tanyas. But slow, first of all, you see from everything, something comes out. Then I made one in Paraguay. I decided I'm doing South America just. So I asked the Rebbe in Paraguay. I made one in Paraguay, also very small. And you see from the two things, look what's going on. From Recife, look what I've never heard. When you do something good comes out. Many years later, I found the manuscript of Rabbi Yitzchak Abuhav that he wrote. He was a fantastic Talmid Chacham. He wrote in Alochi, he wrote in Kabbalah, he wrote in Drush, everything. I gave out already with Machon Yerushalayim 3 books about that. Unbelievable. Look, the Ashgocha was from Recife and from Paraguay. There was no Shliach. Many years later, I got a letter from the Rebbe, and I had somebody, a student that went to make a Seder there and brought matzahs, whatever. The Rebbe writes me lis anyen al pi koisvoi beinyan shliach leParaguay. Xavier, the Rebbe writes me, please get interest in Porsche. Today there's a shliach already there.
You're saying because you printed Tanyas over there, the
So I say
Rebbe.
something was yeah. Anyway, after we started to print more in other places, I printed in the capital of Ecuador, which is Quito, and then also in the capital of Lima.
Peru.
For Peru, I'm sorry. The capital of Peru is Lima. This I printed, maybe I printed it in Tov Shin Mem Gimel, I think. Okay. And I sent it to the Rebbe. It arrived to the Rebbe before Chof Ov. Or before Tu B'Av. No, before Chof Ov. You can look in the Farbrengen. Chof Ov, the Rebbe comes down to the Farbrengen with the two Tanyas. And they were small, not so small like the Teresifim, but they were like that. The Rebbe comes down with the two Tanyas and puts him next to him. And in the middle, the Rebbe speaks a Sikh about that. Baruch Hashem, sie angekommen dort zwischen Tu B'Av und Chof Ov, angekommen dort zwei Tanyas from Drum America. And for sure, this will help in the countries for the Yiddishkeit, but there were some problems that would help them. I got a whole Sikh about that for bringing. So I was very happy. Okay. And of course, after I got the letter, the Rebbe was sending $20 for every personally in the letter for people that were printing Tanyas. A bit later, look what interesting thing. A bit later, I asked the Rebbe, I want to print the Tanya in Guyana. You know Guyana? There is Suriname is the Dutch Guyana, and there is the French Guyana, and then Bolivia. But I wrote to the Rebbe, I'm not sure if there is more than one Jew there. The Rebbe already had told me in Recife, only if Yehudim Garim Sham. I was a bit afraid if you can print a Tanya. I don't get an answer. I don't get an answer. This was like that. I don't get an answer. This was end of Tovshin Mem Gimel. Tovshin Mem Dalet, Chanukah, there is a Sikha rally for Tzivos Hashem. By the rally of Tzivos Hashem, the Rebbe speaks of printing Tanya and make a whole shtum of it, and even where there's only one Jew. The Rebbe goes back to his room, he tells Rabbi Groner, Zog Weitman not schon Enfer. Tell Weitman, he calls me up, he said, the Rebbe says, only one, Weitman has an answer already. Okay, I got it. I sent the pupil, I was a Talmid, Makura, already from Anash, Faivel Rabinovich. I sent him to Guyana, French Guyana, the capital is Cayenne, and to Suriname, the capital is Paramaribo. The truth is he found even one more than one Jew. Cayenne only one, but I think in Suriname there was a small Kehillah, whatever. He prints the Tanya. From there, he goes to New York. He arrives to New York before Shabbos Parshas Pkudei Tovshin Mem Dalet Mem. He arrives there, so I think it was Shabbos Parshas Shkolim. He sent it to the Maskirs, he didn't anything more. Shabbos in middle of the Farbrengen, the Rebbe asks, where's Rabinovich? Where's the Fiber Rabinovich? Calls him, gives him the Chaim, without him asking anything, and the Rebbe speaks another Sikha. Oh, it's Baruch Hashem, so angekum absurdes Teve, von Amokem Nidach, and Baruch Hashem, so angekum the Tanya, Asher Chelkom, vegodot Suchsam, who takes care, Mehem Yihu, vechen Yasu, and the Rebbe speak, Afilu b'mokem, there is only one Jew in the whole thing, Rebbe, that would print the Tanya. The Rebbe made a whole story about it. Interesting how the Rebbe, I always asked the Himish that should have clear answers from the Rebbe. Baruch Hashem, very, very, very clear in the Tanya. So that's how and after I printed also in Bolivia, printed also in small towns in Bolivia like Cochabamba and so on. But my part of Tanya is only in South America. But some people made much more than me.
But that's not the only thing, the shlichusin that you did outside of Brazil, right?
No, we did some other shlichus also other places, yeah.
No, maybe you could tell us about it. I'm talking about Russia, right? You went to Russia.
I can tell you a bit more about other things.
Okay.
First, I got first of one of the pupils that were in the Kvutze, one of the girls that was in the Kvutze, married somebody. So very interesting. She married the cousin. She asked the Rebbe if she can marry her cousin. So the Rebbe said, yes, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Family Katan. And they went to live in Kinshasa. Kinshasa, the capital of Congo. Once it was called Zaire. Today is Congo. They went to live there. So first of all, they didn't have a big mikveh. They didn't have a mikveh bichlal. So the Rebbe gave them $100 to build a mikveh. She was going every month in a river with alligators and so on. Oh, but they built the mikveh. Then after they built the mikveh. Anyway, I went there in Kinshasa. A lot of shiurim. It's very interesting how you can see how the Rebbe
Or
had a
how do you end up going there?
I am
Because of them.
they were living there. They were living there.
Mhm.
They were my students. And I knew them. The Bushpoim. So I went there. He asked me to come to give lectures. And there they speak French or Dutch or Afrikaans, which is like Dutch. So there was a big Jewish community. And I asked the Rebbe, and the Rebbe told me, "Be careful about the machlekes." Look at that. And I arrived there. There was like a big machlekes in the community. You see that the Rebbe knew Mammas, Katzvei, Tevel, everything what happened. But Baruch Hashem, we went there when there was the Dahan, went on then after went Ben Tolila, and Baruch Hashem, it's interesting. We got from the family Katan to happen. I was involved in the bringing a shliach in Zaire in Congo. Baruch Hashem is still there, very much shliach. Baruch Hashem, Rabbi Ben Tolila. That was one of the shlichas we did. Paraguay, Baruch Hashem, we involved in Baruch Hashem, the shliach there. And also, I went twice, Baruch Hashem, to a shlichus from the Rebbe in Russia, and this was still in Brezhnev's time, in communistic time, Tovshim Mem Beis Mem Gimel Mem Dalet. What's the story with Russia? Here's a very interesting story. First of all, my wife's family is very involved in Russia because they were handling with furs and they were buying furs on auctions in Russia, in Leningrad. And they were like diplomats. They never looked at their suitcase, nothing. So the brothers Zippel, especially the older brother Shlomo Yosef, Carlo, was going by the Rebbe inside three times a year. Who remembers him good? The Boch himself said he was tall with a mustache like them. It was for an hour or two. It was a big asking. In the Rebbe's room were waiting already chemadanes, suitcases, is what he has to bring to Russia. If it's talis, that fill in tanyas, sidurim, whatever. And Rabbi Lazar found even some tanyas that still brought those times. And he was bringing out of Russia kisveyad from the Rebbe's father, from Maimorim, verschiedene Bichle Chassidus, and so on. This they did 10 years or more, or 15 years. There are many letters from the Rebbe, but that's not important. Till once they were caught, and the Rebbe told them, "You finish your mission in Russia." But my my wife's family is very connected to Russia. Me, myself, when I was in Belgium, even young still, 16, maybe 17, maybe like 16, 17, there was in Belgium a small group of frume young people that were very big activists. They were doing some peulas against Palestinians and against Russians. It means when we knew that there is a Palestinian something against Israel meeting, we would throw some things there. We make it, and we sat in prison a few times. I remember good in München prison, and I was involved also, and white against Russia, because those times there was a lot of the appeal of let my people go. So there were a lot of demonstrations.
In America, yeah.
A lot of demonstrations, especially of Jews, that Russia should open their door, let the Jews go out. And the slogan was, let my people go. And I was involved in these things. When I came to Lubavitch, and when I learned more and I got to know more the sister Rebbe, I saw that the Rebbe was very against those demonstrations.
I would like to bring your attention to the Keren Levi Yitzchak, the fund that the Rebbe established, specifically the Zichron of his father, Harav Rebbe Levi Yitzchak. And there's an interesting story behind it. In Tafshach Avdallah, the Rebbe gave a sikh, and the Rebbe said that we find an interesting phenomenon in the United States, that there are schools that have Limud Kodesh and Limud Chayil, sometimes more, sometimes equal amounts, and there's a government requirement to have it, and that's why many of the schools have it. But the Rebbe said, even if there is a government requirement to have Limud Chayil, there's no requirement and the government does not meddle at all into which one is more important and which has priority. Yet we find an interesting phenomenon that there are schools that prioritize limud chayil. How so? When it comes to paying the teachers of the limud chayil get paid quicker, more on time, and even more money than the teachers of limud kedesh. And the schools rationalize it. They say, "What do you mean? The teachers that teach limud kedesh Yiddish Shemayim, and they'll still come. They'll still show up the next day, even if they don't get paid. But the teachers of the limud chayil, if we don't pay them, they'll go somewhere else." The Rebbe said, therefore, he's establishing a fund specifically for malamdim and malamdes of limud kedesh, that they can come, and if they get a head check, if they're getting delayed in payment and they're owed money from the school, they can take a gemach from this Keren Levi Yitzchak. As well, the Keren Levi Yitzchak should be supporting other causes of Torah in Kodesh. And the Rebbe said that this is something that he gave the reason of where the seed money for this came. He said there was a woman who either her or her husband worked in a school and they were owed back pay, $5,000, but this is 1964, which is about $50,000 today, and somehow they got a check all at once. All the back pay was paid to them at once. But this woman rationalized and said that she didn't rationalize. It's just the opposite. She said, if I survived till now without it, and we're living, then therefore I don't need it. So she gave a check to the Rebbe, the $5,000 that she received. She gave it to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe said that it's a large family, and they definitely don't have a savings account, and they didn't grow up in Medina Hahi in Russia with Mesiris Nefesh. They're American. Nevertheless, she had this conviction that if she was able to survive and she got this check, unexpectedly, she should just give it away to the Rebbe. Therefore, the Rebbe says, this is the seed money with which I will start the fund, and therefore every single person should give the equivalent, whatever that $5,000 meant to this woman. That's how much we should be giving to this Keren Levi Yitzchak. Therefore, Keren Levi Yitzchak is something that exists till today. Keren Levi Yitzchak this year has given out many gemachen and loans to teachers that were waiting on pay or a loan, which goes against their pay, and therefore it is incumbent upon every single one of us that we can all donate this year on Chafav or around Chafav to Keren Levi Yitzchak. And the Rebbe wrote numerous times around Chafav that lenadiv, the Rebbe specifically used the word that we should be donating around Chafav, specifically when it comes to Chafav. Therefore, every single chassid should donate to Keren Levi Yitzchak this year, and you could do so at magbis.org. That's magbis.org, and you can look for the tab for Keren Levi Yitzchak. And with this, we will all have a schus in honoring the Rebbe's father and honoring the Rebbe and helping the kedusha of our children and helping the mechanchim.
Why? Because the Rebbe said you have to do it diplomatically, quietly, beseser, behind the curtain. This demonstration just harmed the Jews there. It's not good. Okay. I felt bad because I participated a bit in this terrorist group there. So I wrote as a bocher. When I was in 770, you asked me what 770. When I was a bocher, I wrote to the Rebbe. I asked forgiveness, what I feel I understand it was not such a good thing. And I wrote to the Rebbe, I'm ready to go to Russia on the Shliach Rebbe whenever the Rebbe wants. I think a bit of chutzpah for a pisha, a bocher to write like that, but I wrote it like that. Look, this was in Lamet Zain. I got married, came shlichus to the Rebbe, to Brazil. Tov Shin Membeis, just about, came to Brazil, Rabbi Naftali Astulin, was eingesandt. Shliach from Los Angeles, Russian Shliach. He came to help. I don't know how he got to my. I wrote to the Rebbe that he's coming. He's going to sit by me. The Rebbe gave a bracha, but okay, I helped him a bit on his things. He was collecting money for the Russian Jews, for bris milas, for new immigrants, and so on. And I helped him. Went around here and there. I don't know how and what. He must have gone back and he told the Rebbe, he told the Zachim, the people that were involved, and I got the permission to go with my wife to Russia on the Shlichus or Shon Yom Kippur, Mem Beis Mem Gimel. You see how this is? Past how many years? 3. I wrote a small Mabocha, writes to the Rebbe, Chutzpaniak. I write to the Rebbe, I'm ready. It came out. The Rebbe didn't forget about me. The Rebbe didn't forget about me. 6 years later, I'm going there for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. We were there for 10, 12 days. By day, teaching, my wife teaching the ladies. I'm teaching the men. They came all over from Russia, from Uzbekistan, from Georgia, from Armenia, from I tell you, all the activists that Chabad had, all these materes that the Rebbe had, and we taught them during the day, by night, all night for bringing. It was something very, very special. This is another parsha that's too long to speak about, but this was.
Where was it based out of?
We were Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah, we were in Moscow, and Yom Kippur in Leningrad. It was something very, very special. In Moscow, we had a long Farbrengen, we went to Malachavka. It was a time that some activists were caught by the KGB. They were a bit afraid, so we made a big Farbrengen in Malachavka. This is an hour from Moscow. Came the guys the whole night. It's very emotional. There's some pictures about something. I'm just telling you a bit about Russia, how did I arrive to Russia, how did we come. And then a year and a half later, I went back to Russia, then with Zvi Grimblatt, Rabbi Grimblatt, the head shliach from Argentina. And also we taught a lot, went around. Very interesting, this was still communistic time. We asked the Rebbe if we have permission to go to see the Quorum, the Heilige Halim from the Rebbeim. And if yes, where should we go, or Rostov or Lubavitch? And the Rebbe said yes, and he gave us permission. And the Rebbe wrote Rostov. So we went to Rostov. At that time, there was no, it was a middle winter. There were some interesting, I don't know what you want to hear. If you want, I can tell you a story about Russia, interesting story.
A little bit on the topic.
Okay, I'll just say one story that happened in Russia. I'll tell you. There are many important things. It's not. When I was there with Tzvi, we gave a lot of shiurim, visited many people, we brought a lot of things. I don't have to tell you. The suitcase, we were 6 hours, maybe 4 hours, 6 hours on the airport. A guy waiting for us because we came as tourists, of course. South American tourists, Kivyochel, with a casket. I don't have to tell you all this. And there was a guy already waiting for us that knows Spanish. Exactly. They were waiting. What's that? What's it? Everything, something they confiscated. Okay, we arrived. Then that time we were supposed to be in Moscow, in Leningrad, and in Riga. We arrived in Riga. I remember like today, a guy waits for us. His name was not Yotam, Yoram. Okay, he tells us, follow me. There were already 20, 30 people waiting in an apartment for a shiur. We are in the tram of Emol. At once he says, the Gimel Oisius. Gimel Oisius means the 3 letters. We understood what it means. KGB is after us. So he goes out of the tram. We take another one. Gimel Oisius. We made that 3, 4 times, and we see we are followed. He said it's too dangerous, impossible. If you go there, you put in danger all these guys. We had to completely mevatel. We annihilated that night. Okay, a night free. I went to visit one Jew personally that I knew, that had the address, and Tzvi went to visit the old lady that was a cousin, that was a mishpocha from the Mashpir Rabbi Yisrael Jacobson. This lady gave him, he was there, gave him a bichel chassidus. She said, I have that, please give it to the Rebbe. The bichel chassidus was very interesting because it was manuscript. There was some pirushim from the Tzemach Tzedek on the Orach Chaim HaKodesh. It's already printed. Okay, we take it with us. We knew before going to Russia on such missions, of course, you are briefed. First time when I was with my wife, I was briefed by Rabbi Levi. Rabbi Levi went there many times. The first time and the second time I made a video of the people speaking to the Rebbe, like Yechidus. The Rebbe looked it with his Rebbetzin. I heard it from Chesed Arbestem, Erev Rosh Hashanah. He looked at that. Very, very seriously. So, good to know. Al kol ponim, when you have such an important thing, we were briefed. You have to leave it in the American embassy. You're not allowed to take it out because they check you when you go out, and it doesn't pass. You are checked. So what happened? We went to Riga, then from Riga to Rostov. It's a big flight from Rostov back to Moscow. And you come in with two suitcase full, lot of film, lot of pieces, a lot of sakin beschritten, whatever, tell you, whatever you need. We go back with nothing. So how do you do it? We pass in the old shul, Arkhipova. There are old Yiddish svarim for Shemal Alechem and from Bialik, and you put it in your suitcase, you fill it up like that should be something. Okay. We didn't give that safer. We didn't have time to put it in the American embassy. But normally that's the way how they get it back after to New York. We arrived at the airport. Who is waiting for us? The same agent that speaks English. That guy from the
Spanish.
KGB. Spanish, that speaks Spanish. Yeah. Open all the suitcase. He says, hey, but this is completely different things that we were doing. Yeah, we met people. We make kinya chalipi. We changed a bit thing. There's a course, cultural culture. And here. The guy looks. But all these old books they belong to Russia. In the beginning it's written is what printed in Przemysl, what printed in Kiev, 1890. Yevreyskaya kultur, what's going on here? Of Emol at once, he sees the book, that's the Bichl of Chassidus. He takes it out, manuscript. Crazy, you take out that in Russian. Me and Svi, we literally start to cry. What will the Rebbe say? We cannot forgive ourselves. It's crazy. This is crazy. No, it's from our grandfather. It's from forever. We don't travel without it from our grandfather. That is Yevreyska Kultura from Russia. It belongs. You want to take out Russia? He calls an old lady that's a mumche on kultur from Russia, and she says, "Of course, that." Wow, nothing to do. He sends Svi to go to the check-in because it was late when we were going to miss the flight. It was a flight to Austrian flight, I remember, to Vienna. And he tells me with the policeman, the full, these red guys with the policeman with the lady, take all the books in the room and you sign a protocol, you give it back to Russia. I'm going to the room, the policeman is there and the lady, and I'm telling myself, what am I going to do? The policeman went out, and then I thought maybe a bit shoichet, in Brazil sometimes a bit you give money. But then I remembered that before going to Russia, the Rebbe sent me out a lot of dollars, 18 or more, $36. But he wrote me, Lehachlif rak beoifen rasmi. The Rebbe told me only change it officially, because the difference between the non-official official ruble was 200, 300%. The Rebbe told me, the Rebbe thinks everything official, the shoichet is not this, is that. I saw the books were like that. Look what I'm telling you. The books were a whole pile like that. The lady is writing every book, the name, thing, and she makes me a protocol. The policeman went out. I said, Rebbe, that's the moment I put my hand in. Where is the manuscript? I stripped it out. I put it in my pants. It was winter. I had a winter coat. I was trembling because you couldn't see the difference. Everyone sees the difference between the manuscript and a printed book, but at least I said, she is writing. She didn't perceive. She made me sign. I ran to the gate, and I'm saying I must give that book somebody before they perceive. They don't perceive. It's impossible not to perceive you. Everyone knows the difference between manuscript and them. In 1 minute they're going to cut me. I'm looking everybody. Maybe that's his nation from KGB. That's a nation. I'm afraid. I arrived to the gate. I see a friend from Belgium that deals with diamond. Old friends from Belgium, diamond. I'm telling him his name is Oltutsky. I say, listen, don't ask question. I'm leaving my coat here inside. There is a book. You take it. We in the plane will speak about. He understood. I'm going to the plane and Svi is crying. What did we do? How could we have made such a mistake? How could we have made such a mistake? Bichl Chassidus, and I'm quiet. The plane goes off. I go in the first class. The guy was in the executive class. I told him the story. He gave me the back. I go back. What? What's going on? I told him the story. He made the mafteach, all what there is inside. We arrive in New York. The Rebbe is going out to the oil. Gave the sefer.
Wow.
I must have told the story to one of the maskirim. The next day, the Rebbe sent me out a beautiful letter. Rabbi Dovid Weitman. She was schreien al pidyon, ala sefer, ala bichel da'ach, mitzvahs pidyon shvuim. The Rebbe writes me, Godel mitzvahs pidyon shvuim. The Rebbe wrote me a beautiful answer. So that was one of the adventures I'm just telling you. Okay.
A real adventure.
Baruch Hashem.
It's with suspense and drama and everything.
Well, that's exactly how it was.
Okay, it's amazing. So I have a question for you.
Yes.
I want to hear a little bit more about the shlichus, but were there other like horaos that you got regarding your shlichus that you didn't mention until now?
There are many minors from the Rebbe, different one. I don't know what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear, but I'll tell you a few things that maybe might be interesting. The Rebbe spoke a while, certain time, about tefillah ktsora. That children in public schools should start the day with a small tefillah. After the Rebbe spoke a silent prayer. Before he spoke about silent prayer, he told that tefillah ktsora. At that time, I had a good connection with the ministers of Chinuch education, and I felt I could present that. So I asked the Rebbe, should I speak with them about, should I try to do the Rebbe spoke about America? I didn't know if it's for Brazil or not. I asked the Rebbe, yes or not. So the Rebbe answered me, Hare hem katolim kanoim, underlined. V'yesh chshash sheyachrichu oiso haish v'day lamevin. So the Rebbe told me not to do it because the land is very, very Christian and they will change it not to it. The Rebbe was speaking about a non-denominational prayer. So that was a very
Brazil's
many years later I saw that the public schools they profited and they put oisaish v'chulu. Exactly. You understand? So the Rebbe said, "Katolim v'yachichu oisaish." That was
It's very interesting, because America, there's no religion. It's not a religious state, but Brazil, I think, is officially.
No, also it's separate. Also separated, but
nevertheless,
it's maybe one of the biggest Catholic countries in the world. So they're very Catholic. The Rebbe knew exactly, and the Rebbe right, him Catholic. The Rebbe knew exactly what I'm. Once I wrote to the Rebbe that I feel that really I don't have time, literally, for more things to do. Poshet koyach odom is missing, and then oimes avoida, so much what to do. This man is short. Like they have to take also for the Baal Tshuva, take care of the family. How do you join all these things? Take care of your family, take care of shlichus, and medaf lernen terechet, and still missing koyach odom. How do you join all that? I was a bit desperate. I wrote to Rebbe a long letter about this. It was, I think, in Tov Shimem Gimel. The Rebbe answered me like that. L'rov hashluchim sheyichyu bayois al derech hanal. And then between Sogreim, the Rebbe writes, it means in English means most of the shluchim have such problems. Ulepele shechoishvan liyoytze min haklal. You think you're the only one, you have a pele that you think that you. Ve'aderabbe, underlined, aderabbe. Yisanyen ma ve'eich osu, what the other shluchim did, ve'itzlichu ve'yatzliach. The Rebbe, you should inquire what other shluchim I really did. You have to have quality time, and you have to see the family how to do it. Sometimes you have to cut up a bit. You have to, and the Rebbe, Yisanyen eichu ma osu ve'itzlichu ve'yatzliach. Very, very clear answer, very important maybe for other shluchim. Then there was a time, very interesting, maybe sometimes you get over the head from the Rebbe also, it's important. But to get over the head is also important, and you have to say it. At a certain moment, I don't remember which year, I think it was Toshem Yizayim, some shluchim, 2-3 shluchim together with me, another 2 with me, we found, as we had so many pupils already in Mochen Chana, and in Morristown, we said maybe we make a moiset for baalei tshuva in Brazil. And we wrote to the Rebbe the whole plan, and we wrote to the Rebbe Ein onu royim. We don't see any pigi and any other moist that nobody has that. We don't see it's going to. So the Rebbe underlined ein onu royim twice and put a question mark. And then the Rebbe writes like that. Hitchil hishoket ktsas. Started to Brazil a bit to be more quiet. There was some machleke. V'choser hanal, that's what's missing, the Rebbe says. Kanira misalmim legamre mimotze v'hoive. Kanira, you don't want to see what's going on. V'dayla mevin. The Rebbe gave us over the head. You're telling me that's no problem. Just be quiet. Just this is missing. We got it over the head not to do it. So.
I understand there was some strong minus from the Rebbe about
there were many
various machlekes and.
Yeah, but Boshem has got look what the Rebbe. I'll tell you. You see how the Rebbe goes into protein. I was once by Shabbos. I was by Fabring Shabbos. It must be Tovshim Membeis. I was a Fabring Tovshim Membeis. Chai Elul Shabbos. I was going by the Rebbe at least twice in a year. All Yud Shvat with the Kvutze and Chai Elul. After Chai Elul, Friday night. Rabbi Grunder tells me the Rebbe wants to give you mashke tomorrow. I didn't sleep the whole night. I didn't ask. I didn't come for a peula. Didn't know what the Rebbe wants. Okay, what happens? The middle of the Verbangen, between the two siches, the Rebbe calls me. First of all, the Rebbe asked me, "Wufos?" I found it funny. So I said, São Paulo. The Rebbe said, Nachamol, Vu, where? So I remember I came through Peru, through Lima. This is how important it is. So I told him, no, I followed durch Lima, Peru. So, okay, the Rebbe Bocher. And the Rebbe says, Zol zen, as der und der, zol zog lechaim mit der und der. The Rebbe gives me the mashke, two people that were not exactly connected, on the contrary.
In Brazil.
The Rebbe tells Bade Verbangen, see that this and this Ploini tells me his name. Should say Lechaim with this and this Ploini.
People at the Fabring.
One was Bade Verbangen, the other one was not Bade Verbangen. I cannot say names. Okay, the Rebbe. You see, Rebbe gave me shlichus to take care of that. Okay? So, of course, that's the first thing I did. I came to São Paulo. When I arrived, I'll tell you soon. Motzei Shabbos, I invited him and his wife, made Lechaim, put them together a bit with Sholem. But in the middle of a Verbrengen, you see what the Rebbe thinks about. I think it's important for Shluchim to see how important by the Rebbe is such a thing of Sholem Achdus mitoch Kiruv Alevovis. I'll come back to that. Remind me the word Kiruv Alevovis. The meantime, the Rebbe asked me, I found it funny, the Rebbe asked me why I'm going. The Rebbe knows where I'm going. And then on a Friday night, Rabbi Gron told me, he wants me to, it means it's planned by the Rebbe. The Rebbe knows exactly. He wants me to say Lechaim with that and that in São Paulo. What happened? The plane broke in Lima. I was there stuck for 12, 15 hours. And I had suitcase full because that time I was Achoy for Tzivus Hashem. With a big Tzivus Hashem in Brazil, 3,000-4,000 kids. I had the printing of 3,000-4,000 names for a pan for Rosh Hashanah I was given to the Rebbe. So I had the suitcase with all the things of Tzivus Hashem Tzivus Hashem to bring from New York to Brazil. Once in Brazil, we made a nice passport for Tzivus Hashem with that you stamps, you put, you're a general, you're a captain, you're a colonel, and so on. The Rebbe sent it out to the Tzivus Hashem in New York. They should copy. The Poel, what did I do? I was there. I found out where there are Jews. Unbelievable. Shabbos in New York. When I was Shabbos, I ate by somebody that told me that he knows a Jew in Lima. His name is Mandel. I looked at the book. I found him. I went. He brought me to the rabbi. There was a rabbi there. His name was Rabbi Yigal. I forgot the last name. Rabbi Yigal Friedman. Yigal Friedman. So we went to school. I explained him all how it works, Tzivus Hashem. He took most of the thing that I have and to implant it in Lima, there's a Jewish school, and all the thing. When I came back, I wrote to the Rebbe. I understood already why the Rebbe asked me. I made my shlicha. I hope I did what the Rebbe meant. Tzivus Hashem, Rabbi Yigal Friedman to them. 3 years passed, maybe, and we decided the shluchim in Brazil to make a knife for Yud Aleph Nissen, to make a nice book for the Rebbe, a kovetz from Aloche, from Rabbonim, from Stott. It was Koives Hadras Melech. Very nice. Mareches, Rabbi Shon Gurari, Rabbi Zainz, me. Okay, went to Rabbonim. Everyone wrote, some Rabbonim, some Dayonim, Shluchim. I get a horoi from Maskils. The Rebbe said you should connect with Rabbi Yigal Friedman. He should also write something. You see? The Rebbe ain't shikho lifne kisek voidecha. The Rebbe doesn't forget anybody. Look, just because 2-3 years before he was a rabbi, he helped a bit for one day for Yitzhak Hashem. You should see that he should write in that kovetz. Unbelievable.
Amazing. So I want to ask you. I know I have to remind you about the kid of Alavavas, so didn't forget about that. But there's also, so first of all, there's a big maisid that you had. I actually worked there when I was on Shlichus in the yeshiva in Brazil. I taught in the camp. Some of the shluchim were the head counselors, and some of them were teaching. And also there's the 10 yad. So maybe you could talk to me a little about those maistas.
Yeah, we have another 2 things that we're taking care. One is 10 yads, and one is the Camp Gan Yisrael. 10 Yad is an institution that's only a social institution, Chesed. In Hebrew, it's called Saad. We give it a soup kitchen, the Beis HaTamchui. A few people, Mekurovin and me, myself, we got together before Yud Aleph Nisan Tov Shin Nun Beis, when the Rebbe was going to make 90 years. It was 2 weeks before the stroke. And we wanted to give a present to the Rebbe. And we decided, because in Brazil you have a big disparity between rich and poor. Not so much middle class. You have people very, very, very poor that live with less than $2-3 on a day. Some things are very, very poor. 20% maybe is under poverty line. So, and there are some poor Jews. So we decided, I think the Rebbe would be happy to make a soup kitchen for poor people, to give them food every day, not food only, so a whole meal, a 3-course meal. We wrote it to the Rebbe, and we wrote that we're going to call it Eishel Menachem, and the Rebbe agreed, and this Kabel Shuaschen, we got a nice answer. It was 2 weeks before the stroke, and we started. No, sorry, we wrote it's called today's Eishel Menachem. That time we called it Eishel Mamash. It was the Rosh from the Rebbe, Eishel Mamash. The Rebbe agreed. The Rebbe was very happy. So it's existed already more than 33 years. And we give over 1,000 meals every day for people. It's a very special moiset when the federation wants to show something nice to people that come, delegations, so on. They bring them to the 10 Yad, and it's all the media very known. The president and all very senators and big personalities came already to visit it. Special name. It's named after the Rebbe. The whole thing. It's a whole moiset. It's a whole building only for Chesed. Of course, when you have such a population of poor people, it's not only food. Sometimes they need clothes, and one needs a tennis for the children, whatever. Of course, this is 10 yards. The camp is in Horaos Milamaila, Gan Yisrael. I will say the story a bit because I think it's an important thing. When I arrived in Brazil, Tov Shin Lametes, Mamash, 2 months after, in August, it was Tammuz Av, there was a Chassidish Chassan in Rio de Janeiro. The chasana was from a young man, Eliovich, Olav Sholem. He was working with Rabbi Blumenfeld. So I went to the chasana. I was never in Rio, and I decided I'm already in Rio. Let's visit Rabbi Binyamini, the Rosh Yeshiva from Petropolis. I went to
The only time I was in Rio was for a chasana also. So
okay, so we are together. So I went to visit Rabbi Binyamini. Was very happy, received me very nicely. Beautiful yeshiva in the mountains. Something.
Rabbi Binyamini has, by the way, on his own, tons of stories and heroes from the Rebbe.
There's a whole book about, of course.
Yeah.
But about Brazil, I hope you know that there is two books about Brazil. Admur Chabad in Brazil. There you have many answers because
in the Deher magazine, we wrote an article about Rabbi Binyamini.
Yeah, but you should see the books. The Rebbe literally shoots in Brazil so many answers. We get to know so many people, letters from the Rebbe. So I we put them together, and we don't have everything, but Brazil was very, very not strong, not only in the printing of Tanyas, but many other things. I'll give you an example. Mifse Kashrus that the Rebbe did came out from Megvir from Brazil. And there are some words that the Rebbe speaks about Brazil. Brazil ukar nerchov la'afot zamayonos. and Sao Paulo should be Mokem Chabad and Brazil. Many brochas. There was a reporter. We're going out of the story of the thing. There was a reporter in Rio that what he went to a Verbrengen from Rabbi Chittik, the first Shliach Bichlal in the 50s, and then speaking with Yud Gimel was Rabbi Chittik to Brazil. Many letters, unbelievable, very interesting, and many things about Brazil. Al Kol Ponim, the Rebbe put a lot of kirches in Brazil, a lot of personal kirches. There, that reporter went to Verbrengen, and then he wrote an article in his newspaper, Yiddish, it was a Yiddish newspaper, and he wrote that Baruch Hashem, Brazil is a midbar, but he came to Brazil as a midbar, but came to Brazil a shliach from Chabad. He's doing a beautiful work, and he writes about Verbrengen. The Rebbe got his article, and the Rebbe writes him a letter. Thank you for speaking about Chabad. You discuss you with Verbrengen. I don't agree with you that you call Brazil a midbar. The midbar is something where nothing grows. In Brazil, if we come the right people, they will grow fantastic pears. Already, it's in Rigos Kodesh. You can see it's also in the book. The truth is, the Rebbe corresponded. There is letters from the Rebbe to 3 presidents from Brazil. They wrote to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe writes, I don't think in the United States you have that. In the United States you have 2 maybe. 3.
Bush, Reagan. Yeah.
2, I think. We have 3. The Rebbe put a lot of kids in Brazil. Anyway, I was in Rio. I was there by Rabbi Binyamini, and he tells me, I would like to have more pupils. We have not enough Talmidim. What could you help me to help more Talmidim? I tell him, look, I came here to work with students, but my experience from Paris, that when you make a good camp and it works good and you have good kids, that from there you can mamshich them, because the yeshiva is already from 16 years old. You can be mamshich them to the yeshiva. It works.
Making a camp.
Yeah. So he said, oh, very good. You should make the camp. Make a camp. When is by us the summer by us is in December, January. Very good. Came December, January. Some people were against, didn't work. I saw there is a bishop politic, but I made the seminar levels of students. I didn't make it. I arrived 2-3 weeks after in New York with the Kvutza. We're going to Yechidus. I go into Yechidus. I just had given my paper to the Rebbe. I don't know if the Rebbe read it or not. The Rebbe picks up his head and asks me, why didn't you make the camp? Look, I want to explain you. I came back from Rio, and like every month, I wrote Duch to the Rebbe. This was 2 lines. I wrote to the Rebbe that I was in Petropolis, what I told him, what he asked me, what I answered. It was 2 lines. It's a Duch from 4 or 5 pages. 6 months later, the Rebbe asked me, why didn't you make it? The Rebbe said, gefällt Talmidim was missing kids. I didn't want to tell the Rebbe that somebody was a game. I said, "Mot nicht gewollt soll sein Problemen." We didn't want there should be problems. So the Rebbe picked up his head, made me a big schmeichel, and said, "No, Abi me'arbet mit kiruv levovos. If you work with kiruv levovos, okay." But I understood that the Rebbe wants the camp. It was clear. The Rebbe asked me.
This is the story of Kiruv Alavavis.
The Rebbe, no, Abi me'arbet kiruv levovos. The Rebbe make a schmeichel. I understand the Rebbe. Next year came Tovshin Memalev. I already didn't ask anybody. I understood the Rebbe wants the camp. I make a camp. Make a camp in Israel. 3 weeks before, I had already 50, 60 kids, 55 kids. I have all the list. I write to the Rebbe a letter, Boshim, all the kids here. We're making no madrichim, all the Baal Tshuvas. First time at Petisha, I was the head counselor. Hinton, I rented the place. I make it. The day we're going out of the camp, I get a letter from the Rebbe, and I feel it's heavy. I open Kedem a Michtav Kloli, a Michtav to Shluchim from Yud Beis Tammuz about Shlichus. Then a Michtav Kloli Proti. Then I see that the Rebbe took my letter, cut it off a piece, and wrote with his handwriting, Niskabel with Shuas Chein. He wrote it, he put me my letter inside. Something very. I said, Kol HaMetzur b'zeh. Kol HaMetzur b'zeh Niskabel Shuas Chein. He took the letter, he cut off my piece. I said the Rebbe is happy. Made the camp, Baruch Hashem. Finished the camp. I call up in New York, the maskir. I tell him, Baruch Hashem, the camp was Aslocher. I arrive in New York 2 weeks after for Yud Shvat. He shows me where Rabbi Weitman Modia, the camp was Aslocher. The Rebbe wrote Aprotim, the details. The details. I understood that the Rebbe really likes the camp. I sent pictures and things, Baruch Hashem. And 10 years, we rented places. It's a schlep, not easy, because you have to rent a place, you have to be a truck and bring you for all your things, you have to be cashering and play and pots and pans. I don't have to tell you that. Again, after 10 years, I decided one night I'm writing to the Rebbe, the Indian from camp came milemaila. It was a hero from the Rebbe in Yechidis to special camp. Maybe the Rebbe can arrange us a camp, we should have a steady camp. Jeder Jahr sich schleppen da. You believe me or not, the same week a Jew calls me up. Never spoke with the Jew. His name is Mr. Levinsky. He tells me I bought the camp from the Reform Shul in Campus de Jourdain, which is in the mountains. I don't know what to do for it. It's a long range investment. I heard that you're making camps. Maybe you're interested to have it. I thought I cannot believe it. The answers from the Rebbe.
To buy it or to use it?
Look, he tells me I can give it to you for 5 years. You don't pay anything. Just you pay, of course, electricity and water, but nothing. I went there Sunday. I remember we put it $100,000. We make the shul bigger and fantastic. 35 years past or 40, I'm still using the place. So for you to know, just that's every 5 years we renew it. Baruch Hashem, we renew the place. But what happened there? You could make a camp for 100 people. So we used it a few years. Really, we must have used it from Tovshin till Tovshin Nun, something like that. We used it. No more from Toshim. Sorry, from Toshin Nun. It was before Gimel. We were Tovshin Mentes, and another 8, 7 years, 9 years maybe. But the camp grew, more than 100 kids. We have 100, 150 kids, Madrichim, we have teen camps, Yeshiva camp, and so on. It's bigger. It's bigger. I want to make an interruption, if you don't mind, Rabbi Yossi came and I want to make an interruption. The 10 yards, you know the 10 yards, the kitchen that we have. To sustain that, it's a lot of money. So we, of course, we have donors here and there, and we make once a year, we make a show. We make a concert, it's called. So we brought already Mordechem Ben David and Avram Fried and Shweki and Dedi, all these Jewish singers. Okay, normally these shows have 2,000 people, 1,500, sometimes 3,000. And it helps us. We can make a book. It helps us with the money for a few months. Okay, 1 year, it's good. It must have been Tovshin Nun Hey, maybe. We couldn't find a singer. This one is busy, this wasn't busy, nobody, this, everybody, no singer. What do we do? What can you do? We cannot do. The volunteers of Tenyad, we have 300 volunteers, ladies and men. A few volunteers came by us. Listen, we have an idea. We found a singer, he's a Yiddish Liedlich, he knows to sing in Yiddish. I said, you're crazy. Yiddish? Who speaks Yiddish? Old people, nobody else speaks Yiddish. Roshin comes with Mandler, Yiddish Mama. I said that there'll come 100 people, that's all. They insisted, we have to do, we cannot stop. I told him, make me a favor, just take a hall for 100, 150 people. There will not be more, they listen to me. And I was ashamed, I'll tell you the truth. I took a plane, I went to New York. I didn't want to be there because I felt that's going to be a fashla, it's going to be complete. And I was right, there was 120 people, only old age people. They showed the video of Tenyad, and this guy sang in Yiddish. Okay. Tovshin Nuntes around. I'm writing to the Rebbe one night, and I said, listen, Rebbe, you gave us a camp like that. We used it for a few good years, but the camp is bigger. Maybe we can get a bigger camp. Rebbe, we should get a bigger camp for us. We need a place, really a Kiryat camp. I write it. 2-3 weeks later, we had a pegish of students in a hotel that we rented. I arrive Friday in the hotel. I see a guy. Oh, you. Oh, I know you. He's the guy that was helping me to rent always places to camp. I tell this guy, oh, you, maybe you know a place to buy the camp. He said, yes, I know a place here, not far, 10 minutes. Very good. We go there Sunday morning. With a nice gish, 300 students, whole night for break. Sunday morning, I go with him. I love the place. It's for the place, swimming pool, the courts, and speaking, and everything first. I don't have a penny. I say a few psukim here and there. I ask him, give me the name of the balabos. Okay, he gives me the name balabos, an Italian guy, Vincenzo. Monday, I call the guy. This was around August, September. Listen good to me. I call the guy. and I tell him, listen, I saw your place, it's nice, but I don't have a penny. It's very important to understand, to buy it. And we go and say, why do you have such much place? He had place already for 150 people. Said, no, I bring schools here, poor people, me also poor people, Jewish. Oh, you're Jewish? He said, yeah, of course, I'm a rabbi. So, oh, my shutef is a Jew. I said, who is your shutef? He said, Rudi Bracha. I said, Rudi Bracha? I'm marrying him Thursday. He said, yeah, this guy. Okay, we're going to meet by the place, by the chuppah. After the chuppah, we speak. In the meantime, I called Rudi Bracha. He said, okay, I'll arrange you can pay in many installments, but we could call it $1 million. Very big place. Okay, I arrived there at the chuppah. Don't have the money. I'm very interested in the place. I don't know what to do. Baruch Hashem, I got an inspiration from the Rebbe to tell, listen, Vincenzo, I cannot buy the place like that. Maybe there's some problems. Sewage here. I must test it. I want to use it for one summer. If it's good, I promise you I'll buy it. No problem. He said, take it. Whole summer he gives it to me. Gan Yisrael, Pardes Chana for girls, Yache Kala for Rabbonim. Amechaya, beautiful. A few acres. A ganze camp. Comes February, finish the camps. I know the guy is going to call me. He's going to call me, the guy. What do I do? I sit down one night. I open the Igris Kodesh. It's very rarely. I open the Kodesh. I fall on the Igris from the Rebbe Tov Shin Tezayin Tezvov to Chitrik, Shliach in Rio de Janeiro. The Rabbi writes something like that. Kedai me'od lis'anyen binyan ha'kaitanus. שראינו בזה הצלוח רבה בארצות הברית וקנדה וארץ הקודש. Because the Rebbe writes, through the children we get to the parents. Letter only about Gan Yisrael, about camps. I said, wow, that's me. Passes 3 days, I'm sitting. I go to the soup kitchen, to the 10 yard only once a week. Who directs the soup kitchen is my son. I go there for lunch once a week. I'm there sitting Wednesday by lunch. Knocks at the door, a Jew. Small Jew, Ayidele. It's normal. I was sure he comes from Andover. Okay, I almost put my hand in the bucket. He sits down. He tells me like that, Rabbi, we were 3 brothers. We born in Romania. During the war, we saved ourselves in Siberia. We came to Brazil. Boris, my brother, Olga, my sister, and me. We never got married. Every one of us had a factory of textile. We made a lot of money. Boris passed away 2 years ago. Olga passed away last year. All the money is by me. And I'm looking what to do with the money. I think I froze. I don't know. Now listen to what he's telling me. 5-6 years ago, I was by a concert of Yiddish Liederlich. It was such a beautiful night. And there they showed a video of an institution. It's 3 weeks I'm trying to remember the name of the institution. This morning I got it. I'm here, it's 10 yard. Rabbi, what do you propose me? What can you help me? I thought it's not possible. What I'm telling you is about Shem Tosma. Listen to me. I'm telling him, Avrum Tizmanetsky, Avrum. And I start to tell him all my plan. I want to buy a camp, the children and the teenagers. And he makes the whole time with his head like that. Yeah. I said, then we can make for rabbis, make for here's the summer, the whole year. You don't need to winterize your camp. It's everything. I tell him that we can make there for a couple. So yeah. At a certain moment, I get nervous. I said, Rabbi Avrum, we read on this from $18. No problem. I said, Rabbi Avrum, we read this from $180. No problem. We're not speaking about $180,000. He said, no problem. End of the story, don't wait too long. He paid $1 million, he paid everything. And he told me there will be money left over to buy some more shtochim around, which we did for him. And we have a beautiful camp Gan Yisrael. This is the Kiryas Gan Yisrael. We use it the whole year. All the schools, all the Frume people here, even Litvish, when people come there, they rent it for Shabbos with a big picture of the Rebbe, and they use it. It's a big Kiddush Hashem. Use camps and seminars for students and pigishas, whatever. And what do we learn from that? Why tell you the story? Because I think we shluchim can learn something beautiful from that. Dafke the pe'ula that I thought will be a fashla total will not work out. That was a shame that I went out. From there came the Yeshua. This old Jew, if he wasn't by that concert of Yiddish, he would never arrive by me. So Dafka from there came the Yeshua. Twice the Rebbe gave me a camp like that on platter, on silver platter, without doing anything. Do you understand how much the Rebbe takes care of his shluchim? He gave it to me like that. I just asked the Rebbe, as you told me in Yechidas, please take care. Twice, like that. It's working. It's unbelievable. The Rebbe takes care of his shluchim. Once I brought somebody by Machne Yisrael, I remember, a few times, he was with me to Machne Yisrael, you know what's Machne Yisrael Development Funds, and he tells the Rebbe, asks the Rebbe, then the Rebbe turns to him, the Shliach soll sein zufrieden. We should see that the Shliach should also be happy. So the Rebbe is working for us. The Rebbe is literally opening our doors for us. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know why. You got it?
Amazing.
Story. I don't tell you a word more, a word less. It's unbelievable. I had another mice like that, that I was sure it's a failure, it's terrible, became. I'll tell you, I don't know if you have patience. I don't know if you're patient for my speaking. I don't know.
It's very good. I want to ask you also about Morambi and the Safarshal.
Morumbi. Baruch Hashem, after the Rabbi Alpen decided around the Tovshin between between Tovshin Mem and Tovshin Nun to expand on other places. So Rabbi Shilkraut opened and in one neighborhood, Rabbi Slot, another neighborhood. And finally, I went to the south of Sao Paulo, which is called Morumbi. And there we opened the Beit Chabad, Morumbi. And Baruch Hashem, it grew today. To takes care of it is Rabbi Dovid Goldberg, my Eden Baruch Hashem, very nice. It's a not easy community because it's very fry people, the south of people. Many times they're traveling here and there, but Baruch Hashem, it grew. It was from the beginning, from scratch we started.
I spent many Shabbos in there.
Who was living there is Mr. Horn, Eli Horn, and he helped us for the rent and so on. Just want to tell you an interesting story. When I went to Morumbi, I was happy, Baruch Hashem, I got the rent. I rented the place, Baruch Hashem. How did I get to there? Because my wife was teaching one of the families there, Ades. It's another story, but not important now. And there they were teaching the children. So the Bracha comes to the wife, and she got me to know this family, and that was the second one that was interested. So with the Horn, we had Ades, and the third one, they paid the rent. But Tovshin Mem Tes, the Rebbe is speaking the whole time Shnas Abinyan. And I'm just renting. I felt bad. Every Sikha, Shnas Abinyan, Medav Kefen, personal apartments, Batei Chabad, and I'm happy that I paid the rent. Just started. I didn't know what to do. What can I do? It was Erev Rosh Hashanah. I remember like today. It was Erev Rosh Hashanah. Listen to me. It was Erev Rosh Hashanah. I came back from a shir to Mr. Horn, and I see a shetach closed. And I said, Rebbeinu Shalom, the Rebbe, it's the last day of Toshim Mentes. I know the Rebbe is going to change. It's not more Shnas Abinyan. Shnas Abinyan, the Rebbe gives to Shnas Ayelet, Shnas Ayalda, Shnas Achinuch. Everywhere the Rebbe has Baruch Hashem, Menishna. It's going to be finished soon. So you know what? I don't hesitate. I got out of the car. I looked, small, like you say, Vayifen Koi V'Choy. Nobody's looking. I jumped over the thing. I went into a shetach. Belongs to him.
You went in. It's not belongs to you.
I went into the shetach. I started to say psukim, Tanya, Kinyan Beruchnis. I don't have a penny. I made a Kinyan Beruchnis. And I told Rebbe, you want me to buy? I don't have money. At least I show you a rotzen that I would like to buy it. I make a Kinyan Beruchnis. At least something I did Shnas Abinyan. I'd never told that to anybody because people would think I'm crazy. So I'm not going to say, that's what I did personally with me, the Rebbe, and that's it. The shul started 5-6 years later. The batim already growing. Medaf kefen aplatz ashetach. I don't tell them that I have already a shetach. I have already a shetach. I don't tell them. Yeah, medaftan Rabbi, you should try. Okay, I will look for Chom Shochan. Now, for the first time, I'm sending to the balabos of that shetach. I would like to meet you. Doesn't answer me. I would like to meet you. In Brazil, you can force him. I went to agent. Okay, he had to answer my phone. Finally, I told him, listen, I want to speak with you. I'm interested in your shetach. Okay, fine. He received me in his office. Find a guy. We speak. He tells me, listen, I'm not interested to do, but to sell it too much. And I'll tell you the truth. I know two Jews. If you know them, if you're connected to them, then we can talk. If not, not. That's not okay. First one is Eli Horn. I'm going with him in the park sometime Sunday. Second one is Mr. Ades, that his son is in the same class like my daughter. I told the first one is my president, the second is the vice president. Wow. But when I heard that, I said, I'm not going to deal more. Let them deal with them. So they put down the price 20%, the other one not 20%. We bought the shetach. Baruch Hashem, 2-3 years ago, Rabbi Goldberg, which is there, built a beautiful building on that same shetach, Baruch Hashem, that I asked the Rebbe that I make a kinyan ruchni. There is a beautiful Beit Chabad. Just to show you, the Rebbe listens to us. Baruch Hashem, listens to us. Anyway, Chabad Murubi is working, Baruch Hashem. Good, the Peula is beautiful, thanks God.
And how did you? So you said that the Rebbe told you there was one of the hatzais of the shlichus was to be involved with Svardim.
Yeah.
And now you're a rabbi in the Safra Shul.
Yes. So this is interesting here also. When I arrived to Brazil, I arrived like Boimer. Shavuos, already Rabbi Altman presented me to Mr. Joseph Safra, and we had already a small shir. And then I started to give a shir to his nephew. This nephew brought another group of Sfardim, and during few years, I learned with them Tanya every Tuesday night. I remember in the Sifriya in Beit Chabad, maybe 3 hours. We started 9 o'clock, we finished 12, 11 o'clock. So we have Tanya with them These people lately became the Vaad, became the how you call the board of the synagogue of the Safra Shul. And they remembered about me. In the meantime, I started to give shurim also in the youth movement. The Sfardim have a big youth movement called Netzach. And after, even though I was volunteering, giving many shurim in the Sfardim community during many years, but after a certain moment, they asked me to be officially the rabbi. And I agreed. I understood that it's important also. And through that, we get into more and more kehillas, more people. It's a growing, a flourishing community today. I would say it's 600 families, maybe almost 3,000 nefoshes, Baruch Hashem. And Baruch Hashem and Mr. Safra, there's a lot of speakers. There's another talk, very, very, very connected to the Rebbe.
I was going to ask you about that. He has a whole shaykh with the Rebbe, the Safra.
Yes, this is another talk about the other. There are many families that we can speak. This is another talk. I think like that I can tell you maybe something personally if you want. I don't know what's.
Yeah, that's it.
I was thinking about the Murumbi. You asked me, right? I said there is not a story that I thought that there's not a story that I thought it's going to be a filler, and at the end it became a something. Tovshin Mem Zayin, just about the Rebbe spoke strongly on a Shabbos about Chanukah menorahs. Very strong public Chanukah menorahs. A long, I think it's Mem Zayin. Maybe I made a mistake. And we were listening to the Farbrengen at night, sometime an hour, 2 hours difference. It was around 10, 11 o'clock with the Shluchim. We hear our Chazorah, and we have to do something. It was the middle of Chanukah.
It was Chanukah.
Don't remember exactly which day. It was on Chanukah. Okay, Rabbi Shulker is me on the phone. Another rabbi, we think, what can we do? We remembered we have a very big, huge Chanukah menorah that we left on the Jewish club, Maccabi. And the next Sunday, we got to know there's a very big soccer game between the team of São Paulo and Corinthians. This is a very 80,000 people in the stadium, beside the millions of people looking television. We decided we must put that Chanukiah there. The Rebbe says, if you give public, we must put it there. How we do it? We have telephones here, 11:30 at night. We got to know that one of the board of the São Paulo, it's in the São Paulo Stadium. One of the people on the board is a Jew. His name is called Jaime Franco. I'm calling this guy 12 o'clock at night. I didn't know what would be his reaction. Mr. Jaime, I heard about you in the board. We just got an appeal from the Lubavitch Rebbe, the world Jewish leader. We have to put menorah, public menorahs everywhere. And we want tomorrow in that game. He took it very seriously. Come to me 9 o'clock in the morning with your car. We go to speak with the president. I had the booklet a bit already with pictures from America, from public menorahs that helped a bit. I go by him. He takes me with his car. We go to the president. He took it seriously.
The president.
Not from a poshet yid. Listen,
What do you mean the president
the president goy, a goy. We
of
go
the
to
team?
the president of the board of the team.
The
The
board,
whole
yeah.
thing. We go by him. I explain him that it's the menorah means peace and light. Light. Who doesn't want light? Everyone light. Light brings peace. And here I made a mistake, a very big mistake. I told him this will bring the victory of the team. Sao Paulo will win. I told him this bring mazel. I wanted to convince him. I was young and this will bring mazel to the team. The guy loved it. He takes the phone. He gives a pekuda in the stadium. In the meantime, Rabbi Shulker went to take out with a big truck the menorah. They should let him in and put it on the stage. All water. He loved it. Okay. We arrived there. The game must have been 4 o'clock. We arrived at 2 o'clock. They put in the menorah. The full. I don't know if you know Brazil. They're crazy for soccer, and Corinthians is a very popular team, more than Sao Paulo. We got interviews, the radio, the guys. What's this thing? There's a candelabrum there. What's this? What's going on here? So we say no, light, the Jewish light, and we won the victory of the Hashmonoim, and the thing brings light and peace. And again, we said no, most probably to bring mazel to the team of Shazampo. In the stadium, there were many guys from the other team, from the Corinthians. They heard it on the radio. They throw literally stones on us. I remember one stone took me here, the Hamazla had glasses. Okay, but we did ours. 3 o'clock, the stadium was full. I'm telling you, 80,000 people, many Jews. Many Jews made their sign. Oh, Rabbi, Chanukah Sameach, Chanukah Sameach. We saw that it was making many Jews, and they couldn't believe the menorah. And this goes on television. I don't know how million people, 50 million people. This is 220 million people. Okay, we stood there a bit, but all the time in my life I saw a game. The game starts 1-0 for Corinthians. They're losing Sao Paulo. 2-0. I told Rabbi Shulker, let's go out from here. They're going to lynch us. We're not going out alive from here. We run away somewhere. In the meantime, some people saw us. They laughed at us because we said they lost the game. We did everything, Baruch Hashem. The publicity, the Pirsum Menisa was moiridik, but we didn't go back even to take the menorah because we sent some people going to take with a truck. We told them they're going to win. They lost. I was sure, but okay, what gemacht und so. Look, das Joche protest. This Jaime Franco, marries his daughter to Mr. Ades, the president of the synagogue. I got close. I made the wedding. We're getting close. With Jaime, 2-3 years passed. We never spoke more about that. I didn't want to talk more about this. One day, Jaime Franco calls me 3 years later. Rabbi, the president of the Sao Paulo club would like to speak to you. You agree? He made me such a favor. I said, okay, I agree. I come to pick you up with the car. I said, what does he want? Okay, Franco comes to pick me up. We go to the stadium. He opens the door, 50 people sitting, the whole board. The president speaks. Rabbi, do you remember the game? I put my head down. I said, of course I remember. You know, Rabbi, that we lost that game. It was the best time in our life. After that, we won the international. We won the Libertadores. We won in Japan. We won the international. We won the best. That's true. They won in Japan, the best team in the world. This gave us such a blessing, you have no idea. The menorah was fantastic. Rabbi, we're going through many problems. One of our players, it tells me the name, passed away 2 weeks ago. We got a crack in the stadium. The city prohibited. We cannot have 80,000, only 40,000 people. We're losing money. Please, could you bring back the menorah? And always the final is around Hanukkah. We promise you we'll put it in the best place that all television, my engineers will put in. And then we'll put on the board where it's lighting, on one side, Merry Christmas, on the other side, we put Happy Hanukkah, every moment. Rabbi, please, could you bring the menorah back? I thought I'm dreaming. And we did it in a few years. So sometimes you think that it's not going, but every peula has his peiros. Every peula has his peiros. Unbelievable. Okay.
Amazing. Okay.
Yes, personal experience with the Rebbe, I'll tell you one, which I also think that it's important. Maybe it could help other shluchim to see how much the Rebbe has us shluchim in mind. Around Tovshin Memdalet. Around Tovshin Memdalet, me and my wife went by the doctor. The doctor started to say that I have to make tests and things very brius, health and thing. Got scared. I told my wife we're taking a plane, we go to the Rebbe. This was Erev Shavuos. We arrived Erev Shavuos by the Rebbe. I arrived there, I wrote a long letter to the Rebbe. I wrote exactly what the doctor said. You have to make this test and this test, that thing. Ha'im yesh to'eles badovo, should we do it, should we not do it? And then I wrote to the Rebbe, it's bevalbel me mit machshoves, it doesn't let me come. Past 3-4 hours, Maskiris calls me to come back. I arrived there. Look, first of all, where I wrote Ha'im yesh to'eles and all the thing what the doctor say, the Rebbe cut off with scissors. He made a hole. You listen? The Rebbe made a hole in the letter. Then I learned a new pshat in Tzadik Goizer v'Akadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim. Goizer, he cuts off. Not only Goizer, he takes away the decree. When the Rebbe takes off here, he takes it off there. Goizer. You know, in the Gemara in Shabbos, there is the Entoisis, there is Yaakov HaKoif, Rabbi Yaakov HaGoizer. So the pshat simple is he was a moil. But I think we maybe can say pshat Goizer, he took away the Xeris. Anyway, so the Rebbe took off that. Then when I wrote that I have machshoves, look what the Rebbe writes me. Zores kipshutoi. Zores underlined twice. Machshoves zores kipshutoi. Tizrekeim hachutza. Between them. Throw them out. Al yedei trach gut vezain gut kemaim rabosei zal. Okay, so Rebbe tells me, machshoves zores. The Rebbe cut off the whole thing, doesn't exist more. Machshoves. Then the Rebbe writes in under. Onisi, I answered you already. Ashre chelko vegodel schusoi vechule. Ve'Hashem yatzlichem od yoser, underlined od yoser. Wow, such an answer. You can see how I was happy my wife was shvus mutipas. I don't have to tell you. Rebbe cuts off the whole thing. Then the Rebbe writes, I answer you. But then I start to tell the Rebbe says, I answered me. I don't remember such an answer. And the Rebbe said, Hashem yatzlichim od yosef. I don't have such an answer. I go to Maskiras and I ask, maybe is there a letter on the way, something? They don't know. I come back home. A month later, I get a letter, thanking letter for the Tanya from Peru and Lima, Peru, and Ecuador, Quito. Under, with the handwriting, the Rebbe wrote me, Ashri Chelko V'Godel. Okay. Was happy. But then I said, the Rebbe writes me, Hashem Yatzlichin Od Yoiser. I don't have such an answer. It cannot be. There is no mistake by the Rebbe. It doesn't exist such a thing. I said, maybe comes another letter. We'll wait. I'm waiting. Comes Elul, I said, it's impossible. I opened all the letters, Rabbi said, the Rebbe wrote me the Rebbe. Look what I found out. In Tovshin Lamed Zayin, when I became a Chossid, to me the Rebbe wrote, Yamshich v'yigmor Rashiduch, and Vaser Tov, the Rebbe. My wife, at that time was not like today with telephones, you wrote from Europe a letter, it comes in by post. Look what the Rebbe answered to my wife. Michtovo niskabel nochon hashidduch v'toiv yeh b'shot u'mislachatz mitochen mirtovo hare betach yilmad b'koilel. She didn't write a word about that. V'yitoisef lahem v'yitoisef b'chol hamitztarech lahem od yoiser. 7 years before, Aski Relatzion Tevaser Tov. 7 years before, the Rebbe wrote me this same lesson od yoiser. You know many letters the Rebbe got in between. Remember the 3 packages every day, and the Rebbe opens the letter that's on his name. The Rebbe, Onisi, I answered you already. look how the Rebbe thinks about us. 7 years. This was in Tovshin Memdal, this was Tovshin Lamed Zayin. Underlined. 7 years later, when I opened Morumbi, I opened Beit Chabad Morumbi in Tovshin, make a cheshbon, Tovshin Nun, exactly. For the inauguration, the Rebbe sent a nice letter in Yiddish. And the Rebbe writes that Beit Chabad, there is a letter in the Beit Chabad that Dada is done to be Mekar of the Yidden from the Geg and Nora. And the Rebbe writes with his handwriting, noch mehr, audience. Not the time.
Audience.
Of Yiddish, noch mehr, handwriting. It's unbelievable how much the Rebbe takes care of his shluchim and thinks about us. And we know it. And the Rebbe said it once. I think about this shliach more than he thinks about me. That's good. Baruch Hashem.
Amazing. Amazing.
Okay.
Definitely will be mechazik.
That's what the answer was to my wife. My wife got many, very interesting. Once my wife was there with a few good daughters, she wrote her duch, and then the rest, she gave my duch. To her duch, the Rebbe said, Asker al Atzion, Shatovet, Vasritei, whatever. On my duch, the Rebbe writes to her, what the Rebbe? Chu Bli neder ech tov lo biyomim ele. I'm going to write to your husband biyomim ele. Who am I? The small picture the Rebbe writes to my wife. It takes his time for us. Bli neder ech tov lo biyomim ele. It's unbelievable how much the Rebbe thinks about us. Managi, what should we say? What should we say? What should we retribute?
We should think about the Rebbe.
Unbelievable. I think I gave you a small.
I think everything you gave was excellent and amazing. So Rabbi Weitman. Kind of want to give you a bracha that you should continue with Hatzlacha the Shlichus and seeing the Meifsim in the Shlichus.
Thank you for the opportunity, for the invitation. You should be Matzliach with everything you do. Baruch Hashem, the heard of the whole thing. Baruch Hashem, people are so happy to hear. I heard emphasis from Rebbe, and the emphasis from the Rebbe is the oilam forever, and it's everyone can take something from it. So.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hatzlacha Rebbe.